Good morning, Seth. It's a beautiful day here in Cerro Gordo. Sure. I'm excited to have two of our superstars from our upcoming musical, Peyton Lentz and Hayden Rice.
Our musical is School of Rock, and Hayden here will be playing Mr. Dewey Finn, where it's like the Jack Black film, and it'll be a very fun show to put on. It's really funny. It's a good show.
So basically, it starts out with Dewey Finn, who he tends to be he's a couch surfer, I guess is what they would call him. He jumps from couch to couch and he finds himself settling with his friend who he used to be in a band with. Well, eventually he gets a call. He's trying to pay some rent and he imitates his friend who's a substitute. And he finds out that the kids who he's been subbing for can actually play instruments. So he takes those kids and he decides to put them in the battle of the bands, eventually being found out that he's not actually a substitute.
I play Rosalie Mullins, who is the principal of the private school that he is a substitute teacher at. I'd say a little bit more than Nemesis. I believe we did tryouts back in December before Christmas break, and then we started practices around February. So we've been practicing for a while now. And oh yeah, he's newer to the school, but I've been here for about 12 years. So
To be honest, I usually tell our director, I say, you give me what you feel is the best. I just try out and I hope for what I can get. It's kind of like it's a lot of I don't want to say it's a lot of improv, but it's just a lot of just be very extra on the stage. It's like I think that's what I've enjoyed the most, to be honest. That and there's a lot of energy and a lot of audience interaction, and I feel like having so much audience interaction in a show is it can help the audience to engage a lot, and it overall just makes the vibes in the room a lot more like a lot better. I mean, it's not spilling that much, but it's just a lot of like it's almost like a full rock concert. It's a rock concert for 2.5 hours or however long it is. I mean, it's a lot of bending down towards the audience and showing them a lot of emotion in your face and a lot of energy. If you're familiar with the movie, there's a few songs that are the same, but there's a lot of things that are actually unique to the musical.
my favorite part is probably the fact that I get to boss him around. It's really fun. But the role itself is like nothing like me. So I kind of have to act like I'm a very loosey goosey person personally, and the principal is not. So that's a little scary, but it's fun learning to act a different way and boss everybody around. It's really funny. How many people do we have? Like around
We probably have 25 people in our cast, and that's also including our backstage people. So it's not a huge cast, but we definitely make it work. And there's with having so little people, it's a lot of uh like team building stuff. And it's a lot of like relationships being built and bonding.
So for the main set, we have one main wall and we just decorated it last night with a bunch of posters, chalkboards, bulletin boards, and then there's a main desk. And then we roll in like the instruments, roll them off. And then the other parts, the curtains are closed and we bring in props for those scenes. That's pretty much the gist of things.
Oh yeah. I feel like I've embraced it a lot. I mean, I didn't grow up being a singer. Like I like to sing, but who doesn't? I mean, it's a matter of whether you're good or not. And I feel that growing up not singing, it took a while for me to come out of my shell, but I definitely do embrace singing now.
Maybe. No, no, you're definitely right. My mom said, like, as soon as I was born, I was singing. Like, I just sing all the time. It's taken like, it took us a few days. We have a friend who comes in and paints the set, and she does a really good job. That took about one weekend, and then setting up the stuff just over time, which we don't like have days set aside to like do it. We just do it during practice. So it's taken the majority of the practices to figure it all out.
And we're still adding stuff all the time.
It is April 24th, 25th, 26th, 7 p.m. each night, and there's also a matinee 2 o'clock show on the 26th. They can get them at the door.
I don't believe so. PE.
I didn't miss a class.
Yeah, I think they did a fantastic job. Obviously, they're comfortable talking in front of people. And I think they're humble too. They're both amazing singers. I would definitely want to give a shout out to Mr. Wilkie, who is our choir teacher and is the director of the musical. He's done a fantastic job getting them ready this year and also with their show last year.
Thank you.
Well, we just finished our state testing, so that's a very big deal. We're also on a half day today and starting spring break tomorrow. So we've got a short spring break around Easter, but everybody's in a pretty good mood at Cerro Gordo today because of those things. Yeah, we have the same calendar as BMent and actually have our last day of school on May 16th, so just a month left, believe it or not. Yeah. Yeah, so we have a lot of special events as we wrap up the school year. And like yesterday, our seniors went up to Chicago. They took a trip up to Lincoln Park Zoo and Navy Pier. They got to find out why it's called the Windy City, I think. We've got second and third graders went to the PASS program in Decatur to watch the Fractured Fairy Tales yesterday. Last year, I talked to you about our fifth grade field trip where they go over to the Challenger Learning Center in Normal. So next week, our fifth graders get to do that, and they get to do a simulation of going to the moon. Half of them are astronauts, half of them mission control, and then they switch roles. So that's a really fun one. Another big thing coming up, we've got Adopt a Medic that we do with Kirby with our second graders. Kirby ambulance staff comes out, teaches them about first aid, hand washing, bicycle safety, all kinds of different health and safety related topics. And then at the end of the year, they do a Touch a Truck event. So we've got that coming up on May 1st, where we also hope to have the Life Flight helicopter land at the school. So that's always a really cool thing for the kids. And a big deal. And of course, we've got prom and honors nights and all those things coming up as well. So it's just a busy, busy, fun time for everyone. Our website is www.cgbroncos.org, and we have Facebook, Cerro Gordo CUSD number 100. Sure. We have basically our students have their cell phones off and away during the school day. So Not strictly like a cell phone ban like is being discussed. And then in classrooms, teachers have various ways of dealing with it. Some teachers have little cubbies where the students put their phones into that. Others, it just has to be off and away, or, sometimes in the locker, that kind of thing. So um, for the most part, you won't see cell phones out in the classrooms at Cerro Gordo. I guess I would prefer that it be handled at the local level. I think generally that's what most of us would probably prefer, is that we get to make those decisions locally and not have something handed down that we're forced to do. However, in this case, it really would be kind of a moot point for us, uh, because we're already pretty much not allowing them in the classrooms. So, yeah, I think that, also having teenage kids myself, I think it's an interesting kind of dilemma, because we're used to having constant contact with people with these cell phones. And so we rely on that to communicate with our kids as parents. So a lot of parents don't want their kids to be without their phones. They want to be able to communicate if there's an emergency and things of that nature. So I think there's kind of a line in there that we want to make sure that kids are able to communicate, but we want to avoid the distraction of them, not paying attention in class, or getting on social media or things like that when they shouldn't be. It's very easy to get distracted by your phone and kind of lose some of that instructional time or learning time. So we have to walk that line, I think. Yeah, this is my 25th year in education, so I've been through a lot of presidents, I've been through a lot of congresses, governors and things like that. And so have lived through the No Child Left Behind and different things like that with Common Core state standards. So I think in education, we get used to a lot of mandates and a lot of laws and a lot of changes, and we're pretty flexible on adapting to those things because we have to be over time. But I also think it speaks to the fact that we're so regulated, and there are so many mandates for us, that it shows that education is important. And people, our legislators, our politicians see it as a lever to improve society. And I agree with that. That's why we get into it. Yeah, I think really any mandate or law is probably the result of someone who, something happened somewhere. And so there's this reaction that needs to apply to everyone. So that can be a little bit frustrating. Generally, I think the intent is good, but the real world of education, the people who are kind of in the trenches here are the ones who feel the pressure of implementing so many different things and keeping track of so many new rules and changes. It really sometimes feels like we get used to one thing and then the rug is pulled out and it's something different. So it's just kind of constant flexibility is required. No, I think, we're full into our spring sports. We've got our honors night and things like that coming up. So just really after we get back from spring break, we've got 4 weeks left of school. Our kids are done May 16th, and we've got graduation on the 17th. So we're wrapping up this year and very busy planning for next year already too. Yeah, nothing too big this summer. We've got, we're doing some ceiling and light upgrades over at the junior high school. We are doing some intercom upgrades, some basic painting and flooring and things like that. So nothing, no major projects this summer, but just a lot of different little upgrades. Mhm. They are. I'm very fortunate that the facilities at both the elementary and junior high school are in great shape. We do have our 10-year health life safety study with our architecture firm this summer. So we'll be able to see if there are additional things that we need to take care of based on that list too. That's a great question. Yeah, my dad and my husband are in construction, so I feel like I've kind of overheard those conversations my entire life. So I was very familiar with the bid process and all those things. There were blueprints on our dining room table when I was growing up. So I've been familiar with that for a long time. But kind of being in charge of it is a different animal. So I've got some experience and I'm also learning on the job. I'd say the week of May 5th is probably the biggest week for us. That's Teacher Appreciation Week. So we've got some special things planned, but it's also, we've got our honors night. Our athletic banquet is that week. And then we've got our concerts coming up that week as well. So that one's going to be a busy one, and you mix in some track and some baseball and softball, and it's going to be a hectic but fun end of the school year. Thanks, Seth. Appreciate it.